Amon-Ra St. Brown, he was on Kevin Hart's show, Cold as Balls, which I love that show, by the way. I love that piece of content that Kevin Hart's come out with. Philly's own, North Philly's own Kevin Hart. You feel what I'm saying? Also, shout out to Kevin Hart. I don't know if you guys know this, but Kevin Hart and his liquor company, they sponsored the entire transportation for Eagles fans the day of the Eagles parade. So the Broad Street line, the Market Frankfurt line, Kevin Hart completely took care of the bill. He footed the bill for Philadelphia on the day of the parade when it came to public transportation. So, got to give love to Kevin Hart. But Amon-Ra St. Brown was on Kevin Hart's show, Cold as Balls, and he was asked about his experience in the NFL. He was asked about, growing up, being the son of a bodybuilder. His mother's from Germany. He came from a household that had high expectations for him and his brothers. You know what I'm saying? He came from a household that truly believed in education, truly believed in accountability, respectability, taking care of your body, being accountable. You know what I mean? Like he really came from a strong household. So Amon-Ra St. Brown comes from good stock. And it was a very good episode, by the way. It was a fun episode. I like Amon-Ra St. Brown, to be honest with you. I like him personally. And I think he's a phenomenal football player. But he was asked about his experience being drafted to Detroit. He didn't like it at first. I think Amon-Ra St. Brown was a 4th round pick, right? A 3rd or 4th round pick. I don't want to speak out of turn, but I think he was a 4th or a 3rd round pick. I want to say 4th. And, he got drafted to Detroit. And he was not feeling it at all. He wasn't feeling it. And we know in 2021, Detroit was a year behind in where they were supposed to be, right? I think 2021, that was Dan Campbell's first season, and they didn't win a lot of games at all. But Amon-Ra St. Brown had a pretty strong rookie campaign. His rookie campaign rivaled Devontae Smith's rookie campaign, that 2021 season. I mean, Amon-Ra St. Brown had over 900 yards receiving, 5 touchdowns. I think he had over 100 targets. You know what I mean? I think maybe between 70 to 90 catches, something like that. He had a really good rookie year, a strong rookie year, right? But then his career took off, or he took a step forward in 2022, had just over 1,000 yards, had about 1,100 yards in 2022. Then his career took off in 2023, and 2024. 2023 and 2024 has been his best seasons by far. And he's been a 2-time first-team All-Pro. I think he's been a 3-time Pro Bowler or a 2-time Pro Bowler. He is decorated. Let's not get it twisted. Amon-Ra St. Brown is somebody who has earned reps in this league. And again, I'm leading with respect. I'm leading with respect because I actually respect Amon-Ra St. Brown's work ethic. I respect his game. I respect the talent. I respect the production. I respect the ability to be a part of an organization that was in hell and you helped bring them back to relevancy. I'm leading with respect. That's who I am. That's who I am. I'm gonna lead with respect because I'm a respectful brother. And I'm not gonna cap. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna say anything. I'm not just gonna talk for clickbait. I'm not just gonna lie to you guys. I'm gonna be honest. And again, since St. Brown, he really didn't crash out. He didn't crash out. He said what he said, but he didn't crash out. That's why I'm leading with respect. Again, one of the best receivers in football in 4 years being in the NFL with Detroit. 66 games, 430 receptions on 570 targets, just over 4,800 yards receiving, 33 touchdowns. He's been a hell of a player for Detroit, a hell of a receiver in the NFL. I think he just signed a very lucrative contract. He has potential to go down as one of the best receivers in Detroit history. Megatron holds that crown and will forever hold that crown. But he has potential to go down as a Detroit Hall of Famer. If he keeps this up, he'll be an NFL Hall of Famer, right? He's playing at a very great pace in his career. He can ball. He can ball. But here's the problem, Mr. Brown. Here is the problem. And I mean this with the utmost respect. Y'all didn't live up to the hype. The Detroit Lions did not live up to the hype. Y'all did not fulfill y'all end of the bargain. We got to be honest about this. We can't be on platforms talking about who we want to play, who we want to see, when you didn't live up to your end of the bargain. We did. The Philadelphia Eagles lived up to their end of the bargain. You know, this is what happens when, you know, players have podcasts, and I'm all for players having a podcast if you continue to produce. If you produce, I don't care what you do. If you don't produce, hey, put the microphone down. But him on Kevin Hart's show, Cold as Balls, and I think even not too long ago, they had conversations on his own podcast, him and his brother Osiris, who's, let's be honest, he's no disrespect, but he's a mediocre receiver. He's a mediocre receiver in the NFL. I mean, I don't think that's disrespectful. I think I'm sorry, not Osiris. Equanimus St. Brown. Excuse me, not Osiris. Equanimus St. Brown. I mean this with the utmost respect. A mediocre receiver in football. Not even. And I got to give his brother credit. His brother even tried to say, hey, listen, relax. Relax. You know what I'm saying? But this is not about E. This is not about Equanimus. I don't know if I'm saying his name right. Equanimous. It's not even about him. But Amon-Ra St. Brown. Brother, with all due respect, y'all did not live up to the hype. Y'all did not live up to y'all end of the bargain. And I will say this, y'all won a lot of games. Y'all dominated a lot of teams. We're not going to cap about that. All year, y'all was them dogs. All year. Y'all dominated Seattle. Y'all dominated the Cowboys. Y'all dominated Tennessee. Y'all dominated Green Bay. Y'all dominated Jacksonville. Y'all dominated the Colts. You know what I'm saying? Y'all dominated Chicago. Y'all dominated Minnesota. I got to give y'all credit for that. Y'all beat some quality opponents. Me personally, I felt like Minnesota was always fool's gold. That's just me. I felt like Minnesota and Green Bay were fool's gold all year long. That's my personal opinion. So honestly, the only win on your resume that I really respect is when you beat Los Angeles in week 1. Other than that, I mean, everybody else was fool's gold to me. San Fran was a dumpster fire all year long. Minnesota was fool's gold to me. Green Bay was fool's gold. Y'all entire division, the NFC North, was fool's gold. One and done in the playoffs. One and done. The Rams smacked up on the Vikings. The Eagles smacked up on the Packers. And the Commanders smacked up on the Lions. Again, I want to be respectful because I like you, St. Brown. I like you, Amon-Ra. I like you. Talented brother. Top 5 receiver in football, if you ask me. Top 5, top 7 for sure. Without question. One of the highest paid guys in the league for a reason. I respect you, brother. I mean this. I respect you. I respect you. But we gotta be mindful of the things we say. We got to be mindful of the trees we bark up. You got to be careful what you wish for. I say again, all year, y'all was the talk of the town. Y'all was the bells of the ball. Everybody was like, hey, it's Detroit versus everybody. Detroit's going to win it all. The NFC runs through Detroit. There's no team playing as well as them. There's no team as hot as them. There's no offense as lethal as theirs. Amon-Ra St. Brown, Jahmyr Gibbs, Jared Goff is on a heater. That offensive line can't be stopped. David Montgomery. Now, I will say this. You guys had a lot of injuries on the defensive side of the ball. I think you guys had a league high of 15 players on IR. Primarily, most of them were on defense. Primarily. I'm going to be honest. I'm not going to cap. I'm going to lead with respect. I'm also going to lead with facts. You guys had like 15 guys on IR. That's unfortunate. It's hard to overcome that. It's hard to overcome that. I get it. 15 guys on IR, most of them on the defensive side. I mean, you guys were just losing bodies left and right. That's a fact. You lost David Montgomery for damn near the whole season. He came back for the playoffs, but still wasn't really a factor. You lost Sam Laporta for a good portion of the season. I think he came back at some point. Right? But y'all was still dominating. I mean, y'all finished the season, 15-2? So those injuries couldn't have been that bad, were they? They couldn't have been that bad. I mean, y'all finished the season 15-2. Y'all dominated the Vikings 31-9 in the season finale. Y'all went blow for blow with Buffalo, but y'all lost 48-42. I mean, I gotta be honest. Y'all went 15-2. How much of a excuse can I really give y'all? Can I really give y'all an excuse? I'm only mentioning the injuries because they're facts. But I have a hard time giving you guys an excuse, giving you guys an out. Because you guys were the number 1 seed. You were 15-2. You got the bye week. Your season went exactly how you guys wanted it to go, except when you ran into that boy, Jaden Daniels, in the Washington Commanders in the divisional round. Ooh, you ran into that boy. You ran into that boy. What happened to that boy? What happened, Detroit? What happened? You got to lose yourself to the music the moment you want it. You better never let it go. You only get one shot. Do not miss your chance to blow. This opportunity comes once in a lifetime. Come on, Detroit. Come on. Y'all let a rookie quarterback come into y'all place, walk into y'all stadium, and smack y'all up like that? Come on now. Come on. I can't. How can I take y'all seriously? I'm serious. St. Brown. I like you. I respect you. But how can I take y'all seriously when y'all can't live up to your end of the bargain? When y'all can't even make it to the Super Bowl. Now, again, Detroit, for a team that's been in hell for a long time, you guys have succeeded a lot. But I think we're at the point now where your fans at least, are starting to have high expectations. I don't think they're comfortable anymore just being good or just being relevant. They want to win. They want to win big. They believe they can win a Super Bowl. And you guys had one of the best coaching staffs in football. Dan Campbell being the rah-rah guy, that CEO coach. Ben Johnson calling the plays on offense. A whiz kid. You had Aaron Glenn. Shout out to that brother, new head coach for the New York Jets. Y'all had Aaron Glenn calling that defense, man. Y'all had a very strong coaching staff. But now Ben Johnson, he's in Chicago. Aaron Glenn's in New York with the Jets. Dan Campbell, who are you going to be? Now you find yourself in a similar position Nick Sirianni found himself in. Can you rebuild your staff? Can you elevate your coaching prowess? But I digress. Y'all won a lot of games. Y'all continue to let the city of Detroit down. But y'all want the Eagles week 1. St. Brown, you want the Eagles week 1. When you couldn't beat us in week 1 in 2022. When y'all couldn't beat us in 2021. You have not beat the Philadelphia Eagles. We have routinely and regularly been better than you. Whenever we've laced it up, whenever the Eagles have gone toe-to-toe with Detroit, we've been better than you. Every time. And then when it came time for you guys to live up to your expectations, you failed. Y'all couldn't handle the pressure. And I will say this, St. Brown, again, I'm going to lead with respect. In the playoffs, you show up. You show up in the playoffs. I believe in that Washington Commanders game. I believe in that game you had, let's make sure I got this right here. Let's make sure I got this right, brother, because I'm going to lead with respect. I'm going to lead with respect. In that Washington game, you had 10 targets, 8 catches for 137 yards. You averaged 17 yards of reception with an 80% catch rate. You were balling. No touchdowns, but you played well. You showed up. Every time the ball came your way, you did something with it. And I'm going to get to your super chats. Don't worry. I'm going to get to the super chats, and I will get to your comments. You showed up. In the playoffs, brother, I will say this about you. You show up. In 4 career playoff games. In 4 career playoff games combined, you got 44 targets, 30 catches, 411 yards, only 1 touchdown, which is interesting. But sometimes the ball just doesn't land that way. I can understand that. Sometimes, you get to the 1 or 2 yard line and you run the ball and you keep it simple. I'm not going to get on your back for the touchdowns, but it is something I look at. But as far as catching the ball, moving the ball, getting yards, being a chain mover, Amon-Ra St. Brown, you show up in the playoffs. I will give you that, brother. You show up in the playoffs. Averaging almost 14 yards of reception, 411 total yards in 4 playoff games, 30 catches, 44 targets. You do show up. But this is a team sport. This is a team sport, brother. And whenever it's time for your team, because remember, you're a receiver. You're only controlled by so much. The wide receiver position, Devontae Smith said it, it's one of the most dependent positions in football. In order for the wide receiver to get his, first and foremost, the snap between the center and the quarterback has to be perfect. The offensive line has to block. The quarterback has to go through his reads. The receiver has to win their route. And then the quarterback has to deliver the ball from point A to point B, putting the ball in harm's way in the air. And the receiver has to catch that ball in the midst of conflict. The wide receiver position is the most dependent position in football. So a lot has to go right for you to eat, St. Brown. A lot has to go right for you guys to really succeed at your position. So you've shown up, but whenever it was time for your team to cut the cheese, you couldn't do it. Whenever it was time for y'all to really show up and prove why y'all them guys, whenever it was time for y'all to show up and prove that y'all are the legit contenders we know y'all to be, you couldn't do it. One and done with the number 1 seed. You lost to the number 6 seed. One and done. One and done. High and by. You came and you went. The one hitter quitter. Come on, man. You got punched in the mouth by an overrated Washington Commanders team. I'll say it again, just so Commanders fans don't get it fucked up. You, Amon-Ra St. Brown, and your Detroit Lions got punched in the mouth by an overrated Washington Commanders team. And on January 28th, 2024, you led the San Francisco 49ers 24-7 going into halftime in the NFC Championship game. And y'all blew a 17-point lead. You led the San Francisco 49ers 24-7 at halftime. January 28th, 2024. Don't forget that date. 24-17, you led at halftime. A 17-point lead, and you blew it. I say all that to say, in summary, how can I take Detroit seriously? How can I take the Detroit Lions seriously? But y'all want a shot at us. Y'all want a shot at the Philadelphia Eagles. Y'all want a shot at the big dogs. Huh. I get it. I get it. I get it now. Y'all woulda, coulda, shoulda type of dudes. Y'all feel like y'all woulda beat us. Y'all feel like y'all coulda beat us. Y'all feel like it should have been y'all. It's nothing worse than somebody who feels like it should have been them. You got to watch out for those kind of people in life. They look at your success. They look at what you achieved. And you know what they say to themselves? It should have been me. It should have been me. That was our Lombardi trophy. We would have smoked the Chiefs too. Well, first and foremost, you got to get past the Washington Commanders and a much inferior team. They had the better quarterback, obviously. But the way y'all was waxing poetic about Jared Goff all year, the way everybody was saying Jared Goff is playing his best football, we know who Jared Goff is. We know who Jared Goff is. When it comes to big playoff games, he can't hack it. He was in the Super Bowl in his career. He made it there, but couldn't even generate 20 points. Couldn't even, come on, man. Jared Goff is not a big game quarterback. He's not, but Jalen Hurts is. You see, Amon-Ra St. Brown, if you had Jalen Hurts as your quarterback, maybe you would have beat Washington. Maybe y'all would have had a chance. There's a difference. There's levels to this thing. What? Jared Goff accounted for 4 turnovers in that game, 3 interceptions and 1 fumble. How can I take y'all seriously? It would have been y'all. It could have been y'all. It should have been y'all. It was y'all time. Y'all season went exactly how y'all wanted it to go. Y'all dominated everybody. Y'all got the number 1 seed. You got the favorable opponent. Y'all got the favorable opponent. Y'all were better than them in every way, top to bottom. But y'all just couldn't show up. It's hard to overcome 4 turnovers. It is. It's even more difficult when your defense surrenders 45 points. Ask Washington. Ask Washington. They know what it's like. They know what it's like to have 4 turnovers in a game, 5 turnovers in a game, and their defense can't hold water. They know what it's like. They know what it's like. You know the only thing I really hate y'all for, Detroit? You want to know the one thing I hate y'all for? Y'all want to know the one thing I hate y'all for? And by the way, you guys, we're going to recap our mock draft 3.0. We're going to recap that. Remember, we did a mock draft on Monday, and we didn't get the chance to really peel the layers back on those selections. So we're going to revisit our mock draft 3.0 today. We're going to revisit the draft that we did on Monday. But you know what I hate about y'all most, Detroit? I hate the fact that y'all gave the Washington Commanders false confidence. I hate the fact that y'all made them believe that they were legitimate. I hate the fact that you made Washington Commanders fans believe they had a shot in hell against the Philadelphia Eagles. That's what I hate y'all for the most. That's what I hate y'all for the most. So don't go on this platform or that podcast talking about who you want to play in week 1. Just play the schedule. Play the schedule the way it falls for you. Just play your schedule. Keep it low key. Do your job and show up when it's time to show up. Because as of right now, as far as I'm concerned, the Detroit Lions are more so paper tigers. Y'all look fierce. Y'all look dangerous. Y'all look legit. But don't let it rain. That paper tiger going to turn into mush. That paper tiger going to melt. It's going to crumble under the pressure. You see, the Philadelphia Eagles, they felt pressure. Starting the season 2-2, having to battle back and re-earn credibility and re-earn dominance. Going through a 2023 season where you started 10-1 and then you collapse. The Philadelphia Eagles know pressure. They know expectation. They know how to learn from their mistakes. That's real pressure. Having to run the table in the wild card round against the Green Bay Packers. Having to face the Los Angeles Rams in the divisional round in the blizzard. Having to face a divisional opponent in the NFC Championship game. Having to face the reigning Super Bowl champions in the Kansas City Chiefs, the team that took it from them in 2022. Having to face that demon again. The Eagles, they know real pressure. And they respond to the pressure. And they learn from their mistakes. And they don't allow the same problem to be an issue twice. That's real pressure. That's real champion level shit. That's how you show up when it matters most. And again, Amon-Ra St. Brown, I respect you, brother. Love your game. Love what you're doing for Detroit. You're a productive football player. You're on a Hall of Fame trajectory. Just stay healthy. Keep doing what you're doing. You're going to go down as one of the best, the second best receiver in Detroit Lions history. Megatron will always be goated, will always be king in Detroit. I respect you. I respect you, Amon-Ra St. Brown. I respect you. Please understand that. But I just got to remind you of how this thing works. I got to remind you of how y'all season went. And please, I promise you, point out the lie. Point out the lie. I want anybody and everybody to point out the lie.